G'day everyone and welcome back to the channel. As you have guessed, it is October and Inktober is here. If you've been wondering why I have waited to upload this video, it's because I wanted to compile a bunch of Inktober days into one video. Because I didn't want to post every day, I don't want to spam people. So yeah, I thought that this was a better idea because I'm drawing every single day, so obviously the drawings I'm spending less time on them than usually, because usually I spend, a few days on each artwork, so these ones were, a little bit quicker, but there's nothing wrong with that. So for the first artwork, the prompt was Swift. Now the first thing I think of when I hear the word Swift is the Pokemon move Swift, because I am such a big Pokemon nerd and I love it. So yeah, I decided to draw a cute little A-pom using the move Swift. Yes, I did sketch in this artwork. Some people don't like to sketch, some like to, but I decided that I wanted these artworks to look nice, so I tried to sketch in some of them. First I used my Gasenfude pen to ink up the A-pom, and then I used some ink that I have from a bottle actually, and I mixed it with water to do a little ink wash. I decided to leave the stars mostly unlined because I kind of wanted them to be separated from the character. And then I used a bit more of the ink wash to try and make a gradient. And yeah, I coloured him in with the ink wash as well, and I actually really love this kind of style of drawing. It's very cute and it's very simple, like it's easy to fill in the gradients and stuff instead of having to rely on colour as well. And yeah, I thought it was pretty cute. So yeah, the next day the prompt was divided and I wasn't sure what to draw for this one, so I ended up ignoring the prompt, which is okay. I'm not trying to rely on the prompts too much. If I have an idea to draw something, I just go with it. And yeah, I wanted to do a sort of black and white style for this instead of grey, because I want to mix things up and have things look different each day. It'll be a bit interesting. So yeah, as you can tell, I started off without sketching, and yeah, it's not pretty, so I decided, nope, I'm starting again. But obviously this is in a little book, so I wanted to still use the same piece of paper. So what I did was I just drew it below and a little bit larger obviously. And yeah, I was planning to do the background like black, pure black anyways, so that wasn't a problem. I wanted to pay more attention to her hair and add like lots and lots and lots of little lines, like curving, lines of different thicknesses, to try and add a little bit more interest, and I actually really like it. Her hair's floating as if she's like underwater or in space or something, and I think that looks pretty cool. So here I am going through with the ink, and I used fairly undiluted. I still add a little bit of water to this ink though, so it runs smoother, but I kept it mostly very dark because I wanted it to have like a pure black and white feel. And I really love this because this one has a lot of contrast, and I just think she really pops off the page there and looks very nice. Now for these artworks, I'm definitely going to be using my gel pen, but I don't think that's cheating because on the actual pen it says white ink, so I think that counts for Inktober. And here I am using that gel pen, just some little stars and little dots in the background because, you know me, I love space and I love to incorporate that in my drawings, and I think it looks pretty neat. Kind of like she's floating around in space, kind of. Maybe she's like got her head up in space, she's like daydreaming, maybe. I'm not too sure, but I think this artwork looks pretty cool, and yeah, the black looks really nice against the white. Now for the next day I decided to use the prompt again, and the prompt was poison. And the first thing that comes to mind when I think of poison is poison type Pokemon. Because as before I said, I am such a big Pokemon nerd, and Pokemon are my favourite thing to draw, so this is what I decided to do. Yeah, I just grabbed a bunch of references off the internet and I sketched out some lovely Pokemon which were of different generations, obviously, because I wanted to mix it up a bit. And yeah, lots of poison type Pokemon. And I kind of actually really like the look of the purple sketch behind. Kind of adds a little bit of a poisony vibe, I think. So I decided to roughly leave the sketch out. Obviously I erased it a little bit to make it less noticeable. But yeah, I kept a little bit of the sketch in just because it kind of, I don't know, it gave it that cool sketchy feel. But obviously I'm using ink for my main material, so yeah. Some people may say that, it's not good to sketch for your Inktober drawings, but I think as long as ink is the main thing and you are consistent with your drawings, there's nothing wrong with it. So yeah, for the background I decided to use grey Copic markers. Now I probably won't be using these again for my Inktober drawings, mainly because the paper didn't really agree with the markers. I don't know, it just had a weird kind of texture to it, and I wasn't really able to layer the marker over. I guess this paper is a lot, it agrees a bit more with water-based inks and stuff, so I think I'm going to keep it mostly water-based for this. But that being said, I still like this drawing, and yeah, lots of cool poisony type Pokemon, and the background's pretty funky, and yeah, not bad, I think, not bad. Now for this next drawing, the prompt was underwater, and I decided to draw two things that I love the most: mermaids, and you guessed it, more Pokemon. That's okay. So I decided to use my Gasenfude pen this time. I absolutely love this brush pen. It's very nice. It's a lot better than the Copic brush pens that they had earlier. Yeah, I wanted to use it mostly, but obviously I'm not the most skilled at it, so it's really hard to get very thin lines for me, mainly because I'm inexperienced with brush pens. So I decided to also use my multiliners for the finer type details. And with this lovely mermaid here, I've got a Goldeen down the bottom. I actually really like Goldeen. I think she's cute and pretty and fits in well with the mermaid. And now for the background, I'm using ink wash again because I love using this. I think it's a lot of fun, and yeah. I did a very light ink wash for the first layer, and then as you can see I added little squiggly lines of a little bit of darker ink, kind of like a seaweedy kind of background, just to add a little bit more interest. Yeah, it was actually pretty fun doing this. I also added ink wash to her tail and her fins, a little bit on the hair and the Goldeen. And then after that I used my white gel pen just to add little bubbles around here and there, because obviously it's underwater and I wanted to make it look more watery. So I had lots of little bubbles and dots, and I think it worked out pretty nicely. After it all dried, I realized that the ink in the multiliners is not very dark, and I wanted more contrast. I felt like it was lacking in contrast, so I actually decided to use my ink and a paintbrush to line around the outside of them. And I know the lines are way thicker because I am not very experienced with brush and ink, so they are a bit dodgy here and there and way thicker than I originally had it, but that's okay because I fixed up the main areas with my gel pen after. And I still like it because it does give a lot more contrast and defines it a little bit more. So yeah, I think this artwork's pretty cute as well. And now for my next artwork, this one is probably my favorite one of the group. The prompt was long, and you know me, I absolutely love my guinea pigs, so I wanted to draw one with really, really long hair. And yeah, I did. I used a brush and ink again, and yeah, I'm not the very most experienced in this, but Inktober is about learning new things. So yeah, I decided to give it a go and try to do the whole thing, almost, with a brush and ink. And it was a lot of fun. I actually really enjoyed this one. And I really love the pure black and the pure white style feel. I think so much contrast, and it kind of just glows off the page, a little bit like that one from earlier. And of course I went in with my gel pen as well, just to add a little bit more hair here and there, and also to do a little bit of a pattern around the outside as well, because I wanted to feel some of that black space. So along with the long-haired guinea pig, I drew a little hairbrush and a comb and a little hairdryer as well, and scissors, because when you've got hair that long, you have to look after it and style it. I think this guinea pig's a little bit of a high maintenance little dude, but he's super cute too. And yeah, as usual, stars and dots, because why not? It makes it look pretty, I think. And yeah, here's a close-up of that little guinea piggy, and I think it's so cute. So yeah, these are my first 5 illustrations for Inktober, and I hope you enjoyed this. I actually was a little bit nervous about this video, but now looking at the edit, I think it was pretty cool, and I think you guys will enjoy. So let me know below which one was your favorite. Mine was the guinea pig. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye everyone.